so what we're seeing, this is Clark County in 24 at the bottom for early voting and 2020 at the top. And you'll notice.
Wow.
Let's look at 2020 first. So if you zoom in just a little bit, the way you read this graph is the x-axis, the bottom axis, that is how many votes the machine counted. And so each of these little dots, there's a red and a blue, and each of them are a machine that counted the votes where you voted. And so in this case, there's a ridiculous amount of votes for early voting. And we see that those tabulators or those voting machines, in this case, they have, in Clark County, Nevada, they have like polling centers they set up. So you can generally go anywhere. And so what we see is as the amount of votes were cast, the places where there were more votes cast, we see after about, I think for early voting, it's closer to 500-600 votes or so.
So we're going to do this here. We're actually going to switch from my control room to my iPad.
There we go.
So this is okay. So now I'm able to zoom
Perfect.
in. Okay, so this is the top one, and this is the bottom one. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So let's look at the top first, and x-axis is how many votes the machine counted. Each of these is a different machine. Some machines only counted a handful of votes. Some counted 800 plus. And so the y-axis is the percentage of votes. So the higher up you go, the closer the further up and the closer you get to 100%, you win more votes. And so what we saw when we pulled this data and we did this analysis, in 2020, up until about 450 to 500 votes counted by machine or cast at the machines, it looks normal.
Right, so that's 500. Go ahead. Okay, then 500. All of a sudden, we see a lot of red above 55%.
Right, we see separation.
Okay.
And so what's interesting is if you kind of break this down into the correlation or the trend, as more votes were cast at higher populations, the Republican Party benefited.